In a small apartment in the heart of Paris, a gruesome crime took place, shocking France and leaving a horrifying mark on the history of global criminology. Issei Sagawa. Who is this man that sent shivers down the spine of an entire nation, earning the moniker the Cannibal? What drove a seemingly harmless man to become a depraved killer? And how did such a horrific case end in controversy over justice? To uncover the details, let's dive into this shocking case today. Issei Sagawa, born on April 26, 1949, in Kobe, Japan, was the eldest son of a wealthy family. His father, Akira Sagawa, was a successful businessman who once served as president of Kurita Water Industries, a major water treatment company. His mother, a reserved woman, devoted her life to caring for the family. From a young age, Issei lived in affluence, but he was far from a normal child. Born prematurely with numerous health issues, Issei was small in stature, standing only about 1.45 meters tall as an adult, with a childlike face and a high-pitched voice. These traits made him a frequent target of mockery, leading to deep-seated feelings of inferiority. Issei's mind also showed early signs of abnormality. At just 5 years old, he began having bizarre fantasies about cannibalism. These thoughts were not fleeting, but became a core part of his psyche. Besides Issei Sagawa, he had a younger brother. As children, their father and uncle would play games pretending to be giants, chasing and eating the two brothers, which left Issei Sagawa obsessed with tales of cannibalism. From a young age, Issei Sagawa exhibited strange behaviors and psychological instability. Issei was consumed by the idea of devouring another person's body, particularly Western women, whom he believed possessed an ideal beauty he could never attain. He once recounted a childhood memory of playing with the family dog and imagining biting into its flesh. Far from fading with time, these thoughts only grew more intense. Despite harboring these perverse thoughts, Issei was an outstanding student. However, despite his academic excellence, Sagawa failed the entrance exam for a top-ranked university in Japan. His family then sent him to study literature and language at the Sorbonne University in Paris, France. In Paris, Issei lived a double life. Outwardly, he was a shy, polite international student passionate about literature. Inwardly, he was tormented by uncontrollable desires. He frequently hired prostitutes and, in 1978, attempted to assault a German woman but failed when she fought back and escaped. The incident went unreported, allowing Issei to continue nurturing his dark fantasies. After this failed attack, he sought help from a psychiatrist. The doctor confirmed that Issei was mentally ill, but Issei's father dismissed the warning. At the Sorbonne, Issei became obsessed with Western female students, particularly those who were tall, blonde, and fair-skinned, an image in stark contrast to his own appearance. He now harbored a new desire: to kill and consume the woman he loved. The victim was Renée Hartevelt. They met in a German literature class at the Sorbonne in early 1981. Renée, with her friendly nature, quickly became friends with Issei, who appeared shy but intelligent and well-versed in literature. Issei was captivated by Renée from their first encounter. He was entranced by her voice as she read German poetry, describing it as a divine melody. To Issei, Renée was not just a classmate, but the embodiment of everything he coveted: beauty, confidence, and vitality. Issei began finding ways to get closer to Renée. He invited her to his apartment at 10 Rue Erlanger in Paris's 16th arrondissement to study together or discuss poetry. Renée, unsuspecting of Issei's intentions, agreed, seeing him as a friend. During these meetings, Issei often asked Renée to read German poetry, secretly recording her voice. These recordings were not just a hobby, but part of his growing obsession. He began fantasizing about possessing not only her voice, but her entire body. Issei's obsession soon crossed moral boundaries. He meticulously planned his horrific act: to kill Renée, dismember her, and consume her flesh. He purchased a hunting rifle from a shop in Paris, spending weeks practicing and familiarizing himself with the weapon. Issei chose a gun because he believed a shot to the back of the neck would kill instantly, minimizing pain and noise. He also prepared tools to handle the body, including knives, plastic bags, and a refrigerator to store the flesh. Throughout the early months of 1981, Issei maintained a friendly relationship with Renée, perfectly concealing his intentions. Renée had no idea that each visit to Issei's apartment brought her closer to an unavoidable tragedy. Issei was patient, waiting for the perfect moment, ensuring no one suspected him before he acted. On June 11, 1981, Issei Sagawa invited Renée Hartevelt to his apartment once more, claiming he needed her help translating a German poem for his thesis. Renée, as always, cheerfully agreed. She arrived that evening, bringing a poetry book and her usual enthusiasm. Issei greeted her politely, invited her to sit, and began discussing literature. He asked Renée to read a poem by Goethe aloud, and as usual, he recorded her voice. After Renée finished, Issei asked her to turn around so he could adjust the recorder. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Holding the loaded rifle, Issei stood behind Renée and fired a single shot into the back of her neck. The gunshot rang out, and Renée collapsed to the floor, dead instantly. Issei later recounted feeling an emptiness immediately after killing her, but his obsession quickly took over. He dragged Renée's body to the bathroom, undressed her, and began dismembering her. Over the next 2 days, Issei committed his most horrific acts. He cut up Renée's body, consuming parts such as her thighs, buttocks, and breasts, while storing others in the refrigerator. Issei not only ate her flesh, but also drank her blood, describing it as a way to absorb Renée's beauty and vitality, a depraved reflection of his distorted psyche. He photographed the body and its parts, keeping them as mementos of his crime. However, Issei soon realized he couldn't keep the body indefinitely. On June 13th, he decided to dispose of Renée's remains. He packed the body parts into 2 large suitcases, called a taxi, and headed to the Bois de Boulogne, a forested park on the outskirts of Paris, intending to dump the suitcases in a lake. His plan failed when 2 passers-by noticed his suspicious behavior and alerted the police. When authorities arrived, they opened the suitcases and discovered what remained of Renée Hartevelt. Issei Sagawa was arrested at the scene. During interrogation, he did not deny his crimes but calmly confessed to everything, from killing Renée to consuming her flesh. He led police to his apartment, where they found blood, dismemberment tools, and horrifying photographs. Investigators were shocked by Issei's cold demeanor, as he showed no remorse and even seemed proud of his actions. French police quickly identified the victim as Renée Hartevelt through her student records at the Sorbonne. Renée's family in the Netherlands received the devastating news, plunging into grief and disbelief. They could not fathom why a kind-hearted girl like Renée became the victim of such a brutal crime. The case of Issei Sagawa sent shockwaves through France and the world. Newspapers dubbed him the Japanese cannibal or the Paris monster. However, the legal proceedings took an unexpected turn. After his arrest, Issei was evaluated by psychiatrists who concluded he suffered from severe mental disorders, rendering him unfit to stand trial. Instead of facing a courtroom, he was transferred to a psychiatric hospital in France in 1983. In a controversial development, Issei's father, Akira Sagawa, leveraged his influence and wealth to intervene. In 1984, Issei was transferred from the French psychiatric hospital to Japan, where he was admitted to another mental health facility. Astonishingly, just 15 months later, in August 1985, Issei was released after Japanese doctors declared him recovered. This decision outraged Renée's family and the public, as Issei never faced trial or received any punishment for his crimes. After his release, Sagawa did not struggle to reintegrate into society, but instead became a celebrity. Sagawa showed no remorse for his actions, even boasting about them on television as if they were a glorious achievement. Issei Sagawa became a controversial figure in Japan. He capitalized on his notoriety to profit, writing books, appearing on television, and even taking minor roles in adult films. His book, In the Fog, which detailed the murder, became a bestseller, sparking outrage for its disrespect toward Renée and her family. Surprisingly, the book sold 200,000 copies. Sagawa was also invited to act in several Japanese adult films and created numerous nude paintings and other artworks while living in Tokyo. Issei was frequently invited to events as a speaker, wrote regular columns for a magazine, and edited several books about gruesome crimes. Issei Sagawa even wrote food critiques for several newspapers and modeled for the cover of a Japanese gourmet magazine. In 1992, Sagawa appeared in a promotional film titled Unfaithful Wife. Shameful torture directed by Hisayasu Sato, playing a sadistic, depraved character. He gave interviews and appeared on talk shows like a true celebrity. "They call me the cannibal saint. I'm very happy about it," Sagawa said. Shockingly, Issei Sagawa even declared that women or those who despised him could come and kill him if they wished. "I don't want to be killed instantly with a bullet or a knife. That's too boring because I want to experience the process of being killed by someone else. It's fascinating," Sagawa wrote in his autobiography. However, as public curiosity about the free murderer waned, Sagawa's days of fame came to an end in 1997. With nothing new to exploit, Issei began to be shunned by publishers. In 2005, both of Sagawa's parents passed away. Not only did he lose his emotional support, but his relatives barred him from attending their funerals and evicted him from the family home. Sagawa was forced to live in a dilapidated, cramped, rented apartment, surviving on government welfare. However, this assistance was soon cut off, and Sagawa had to fend for himself. Issei Sagawa struggled to find work as his books no longer interested publishers. Issei lived a free but obscure life until his death on November 24, 2022, from pneumonia at the age of 73. The case of Issei Sagawa remains one of the most haunting crime stories of the 20th century. It not only exposes the darkness within a human soul, but also raises difficult questions about justice, morality, and societal responsibility. For those who knew Renée, she remains a light extinguished too soon, while Issei's story serves as a warning that monsters can hide behind the most ordinary facades.